ערב טוב לכולם מתל אביב, מישראל. ברוכים הבאים לניסוי מספר 8, חלק 6 של השדה האחד. תודה שאתם כאן איתנו הערב, כפי שאתם בוודאי יודעים, אלו עדיין ימים ממש לא פשוטים כאן במזרח התיכון. Thank you for being with us today. There are still not easy days here in the Middle East. אני מיכל מילגרומור, ואני המארחת שלכם הערב הזה. I'm מיכל מילגרומור and I'm your host this evening. הניסוי הזה ישודר בפייסבוק, יוטיוב ובזום. This experiment will be broadcast on Facebook, YouTube and Zoom. לאחר הניסוי, ההקלטה תעלה ליוטיוב, כך שניתן יהיה לצפות עם תרגום לשפות השונות. After the experiment, the recording will be uploaded to YouTube and translation to multiplied languages will be available. הניסוי הזה הוא הניסוי השישי שלנו בסדרת הניסויים שהחלה ב-21 ליוני, ומאז אנחנו למעשה נפגשים בכל ה-21 לחודש באופן קבוע. This experiment is the sixth one in our series of experiments that start on June 21st. We meet regularly every 21st of the month. הכוונה היא תמיד אותה כוונה, אבל המלחמה הנוכחית מדגישה את הצורך לשאול באופן קצת יותר מעמיק. האם אנחנו באמת יכולים להאיר את לב האנושות ולהעלות את הרטט של השדה הגלובלי? The intention is always the same, but the current war emphasizes the need to ask more deeply. Can we really awaken the art of humanity and raise the vibration of the global field? רוברט קוקסון נמצא הפעם במקסיקו ללא הפסנתר שלו, ולכן נצפה בנגינה היפה שלו מהניסוי הקודם. רוברט קוקסון is in Mexico without his piano, so this time we will watch and listen to his beautiful music from the previous experiment. בואו נעבור לרוברט.
What I thought I would play a very short version today of a piece called Coming Home from an album Prelude to Infinity. And why would we be playing this today? Because the music helps us to come home within us to that place where we realize who we really are, that sacred self that is actually pure love. And this is what we have to do, get connected with that pure love and become that pure love, so we're the radiation of the pure love. And that affects the whole world, as we know.
וואו, what a beautiful music. Thank you, רוברט. ועכשיו נעבור אליך, דוקטור נחום פלונקה. האם תוכל להציג את עצמך ולספר לנו על העבודה והתפקיד שלך במכון HeartMath? Hello, Dr. Nahum Polonka. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, hi
Hello.
Michal. How are you?
This evening? Thank you. Can you introduce yourself and tell us about your role and work in HeartMath Institute?
Sure. So hi everyone, and I'm so glad to be here and so honored. Just before I jump in, I want to also send heart to what's going on in the Middle East. I'm located in America, but I know that it's on many of our hearts and minds, and certainly on mine. I have family there, and I think hopefully today, as we're getting together to send heart around the world, hopefully we are making a difference. So I am the principal data scientist at HeartMath, and that means that I have my hands in kind of all the data there. I'm the main person who does the sort of deeper analyses, and HeartMath has a lot of different things, as some of you may have heard in our past One Field events, a lot of data, and so it's like a playground for me. How I came to HeartMath, there's a heart and a math side to it. So the math side, I'm a scientist. I've been a scientist since I was little. I remember writing computer code in 4th grade, and eventually went on to become a PhD in computational physics at Stanford University, studying quantum materials. Then I was a senior data scientist at Quantifying, tracking effects of global attention and sentiment. And so there was this, kind of attention to the global aspect. So that's kind of half my story. And the other half, the heart side, is more my personal journey. As I grew up, I still am an observant Jew, perhaps a bit unconventional, but always with an eye toward. I was kind of raised with this idea of doing the right thing, and so as I grew up, I tried to kind of understand what does that mean, doing the right thing, and turned to philosophical arguments, and that didn't work for me. So empirical evidence as a scientist, I guess, seemed to be the thing for me. So I was reading a lot of people's accounts of their descriptions, what happened for them that's not only of this world, or it is this world, but the 5 senses can see, but things that they experience beyond this. And I found it was hard to explain it all away, that so many people had so many of these experiences. And so that led me to my own experiences, to my own heart opening. And I've been meditating every day for more than 10 years. So I came to HeartMath then to bring these two things together, the heart and the math that are in my background. And so I'm really fortunate to spend my time working on that. The main thing that I work on is the Global Consciousness Project 2.0. Probably spend more time thinking about that than anyone else, because that's been my main science project, and I think it really connects well to what we're doing here today at our experiment, and I'm going to tell you a bit about that. Before I jump in with slides, just to give you an idea of, I think global consciousness is this big, abstract, esoteric sounding phrase. And so it might mean something to some of you and some of you maybe not. And I wanted to kind of try a simple approach to it, not certainly the only approach, but just give a flavor. So let's start with consciousness. What's consciousness? So we could define that as awareness. Some define it as including the sense of a self that is aware. So for example, I'm paying attention to this experiment right now that we're doing. That's my consciousness. Then we can talk about group consciousness. You have a whole group that's connected by sharing a similar awareness, and that awareness is somehow a collective unit of its own. So, for example, here we all are at this event, we're all paying attention to it. We're somehow a group consciousness. And then finally, you have a global consciousness, which is the biggest group of humans that and perhaps goes beyond just humans. We talk about this whole group, all their attention is in the same, or is coherent to some extent, focused in the same way. So when we have, as a whole, when we are focused, our emotions, our attention are in one, are on something similar, that can be a global consciousness. So now let me talk a little more about the project and how we're, I think it's hard for science to get at global consciousness, but we are making inroads, I hope. So the Global Consciousness Project 2.0, or for short, it's called GCP 2.0, is a data-driven global experiment designed to study how human consciousness, like attention, emotions, correlates with changes in the global consciousness and the physical world. And it's actually, at HeartMath, it's part of a bigger initiative called the Global Coherence Initiative. A month ago at this, the One Field Experiment, Annette from HeartMath spoke more about the Global Coherence Initiative. And it's a science-based co-creative project to unite people in heart-focused love and intention to facilitate the shift in global consciousness from instability and discord to compassionate care, cooperation, and increasing peace. So it has really the feel to it of, I think, why we're here today in this experiment of we're trying to bring our heart focus in order to raise global peace. In fact, the premise of this initiative is similar to the premise here, where there's an idea that we are all living in a common vibrational field, and each of us contributes our own positive or negative vibrations to that field based on thoughts, feelings, and interactions. Perhaps this is related to the electromagnetic field. We measure a lot of different electromagnetic fields at HeartMath. We're speculating, but there's hard science, and then we connect it. So here we have large numbers of people creating heart-centered states of love and compassion will generate a more coherent field environment that can benefit others and help offset current planetary-wide wave of fear and incoherence. So I hope that here today that we bring our positive intentions and feelings and heal and bring healing to the world. So it's a wide umbrella, this Global Coherence Initiative. Just to point out, highlight, you see here on the right, the Global Coherence app is included. We're going to use that today to measure heart rate. And in the middle, you see the Global Consciousness Project 2.0, and that picture is the random number generator, which is the technology that we use, or RNG for short. So focusing back in on GCP 2.0, the motivation is to ask a few questions like, is there a global consciousness? And at HeartMath, we believe the answer is yes. Does it affect our physical environment? So we believe the answer is yes, and it's not just an abstract concept. And so if that's true, and we can show that, or we can help people see that, will this motivate humanity towards care, compassion, and a cooperative world? And so we hope that if people realize that even just what they're thinking and feeling impacts the world around them without physical action, that will inspire them to more mindful approaches to life and more care. I mentioned the main technology is a random number generator. How does that work? A random number generator is a scientific device that produces sequences of numbers at random, and they're used in scientific research to study data in a controlled manner. So they're kind of like electronic coin flippers. They're spitting out heads and tails, you could think of, or spitting out ones and zeros, and they just come out at random. The funny thing is that when there's an event in the world that draws a lot of attention or emotion, these devices no longer behave randomly. So there's coherence among humanity and how they're feeling, then there's coherence in the network, that the devices are behaving in sync in some way. And this has been established over the past couple decades with the original Global Consciousness Project 1. That was started by Dr. Roger Nelson at Princeton University. And over the course of many events, he was able to show with very high statistical significance, with this red curve here, that there's definitely a correlation between coherence in humanity and coherence in the network of devices. He showed it with trillion-to-1 odds against chance. Furthermore, he showed that events that embody or evoke compassion and love have larger effects. So hopefully, again, so something where we're sending love as opposed to, there's some events, if there's conflict or one of the, there was a 9/11 terrorist attack was viewed with this lens. You wouldn't necessarily see as clear a result. So we hope that we can send compassion and love. So now, based on this past research, we feel more confident to have GCP 2.0 and to build beyond it. So we are now using breakthrough technology to drive breakthrough possibilities. Our next-gen RNGs generate truly random numbers at a large scale, and this is what allows us to accurately measure and analyze potential patterns that arise due to mass shifts in human consciousness. Another reason we're building out a new project here, and I should say, as passed on to us by Dr. Nelson, is that we're enlarging the number of devices around the world. 1,000 devices, which is because we're packing in 4 RNGs per device, it's actually 4,000 random number generators. And this is about 100 times the size of GCP1. And that's important because we were able to extrapolate that more devices produce a clearer effect. And so we hope that this will be a more sensitive network, and we can do a lot more range of research based on it. It also allows more people to engage, which is just as important to us at HeartMath as the science itself, right? Is we want people engaged and caring and compassionate. We get so many questions lately about the Middle East conflict. Of course, that's very relevant here. And it's quite common for us to look at big news events, right? This is capturing global attention. So I think it's tricky. So to remain more unbiased, we just will follow the same protocol that we do for the past decades when we handle a conflict with this network. We can't really easily pick out, it's been going on over a month. We can't pick out necessarily easily which events should spike the most, but at least we look at the start of the event. So on October 7th, right, there was Hamas attacked Israel. Israel countered with airstrikes, and we can look at this 24-hour period, and we find on the bottom left that the network coherence is increasing from the start of this event, which correlates with the intensity of emotion and attention that's happening around this conflict as it's building up. And so there's this red curve, which is the actual network coherence. There's this blue, which is a statistical threshold to tell you that this is significant if it goes above the threshold. So, and just for clarity, you can see a control period on the right, some other point in time not related, and you could see how this would look if it was just random, the network. So it appears, so we see, we can't call this proof from just one event. As I was saying, it's really many events in order to build up proper statistical significance, but it's certainly suggestive. It helps us explore and understand the data. And it's exciting in some way to see that the network may be in this way mirroring what's happening in the world. One other very relevant example, I think, is to show something from one of these experiments we've done here. One of the past experiments, this is kind of just a teaser, but we have over the course of roughly an hour, we have the network coherence building up as we are here, and we're focusing our attention on care and compassion to the world. So that even though we're not a huge group, we're not global, but we do find that a focus group can still have power. And we hypothesize, even if our intention is towards global coherence, that improves it more. And so just to highlight, we're going to meditate soon. I want, it would be good if, and I will try to guide that our intention should be towards sending care and compassion to the world, raising the vibration, raising consciousness around the world, having our heart with what's going on. So this, as I mentioned again, this is a teaser. In a month from now, we'll actually have a full analysis of all the 6 experiments, and hope you'll be there. So this is just one way of becoming a citizen scientist. The idea of that is inside the heart of every scientist is the desire to find meaning in their world. We believe that desire exists in every one of us. So we're all citizen scientists. No matter how you participate in GCP 2.0, you help drive this breakthrough research. And of course, everyone is here today taking part in an experiment. So of course, you're citizen scientists. And we encourage you to keep engaging. And we have a website, and we'll have data displays and trends, and you can ask questions. And if you feel drawn, you could host one of these devices. We have about 200 out there in the world right now. We're quickly distributing more. And so the way we're doing it basically is we've got half in heavily populated areas, which are called clusters, and half everywhere else. So the heavily, that way we kind of focus in on areas with a lot of attention and emotion density, but we also make sure to cover everywhere on the planet. And those clusters, there's 20 RNGs in each of those. So, and they're not, or that's the plan at least, but you can see here, we've got 2 that were funded and start out here so far to have 20, but if you feel drawn, that's another way to contribute to fund a whole cluster. You can see actually Tel Aviv is on here as well with we have just a couple devices there so far. So that would be interesting and allow us also to see if there are local effects when there are world events going on. You can learn more about this at gcp2.net. And again, really, we're not trying to sell devices. It's really, we want people engaged and involved in whatever way is interesting to them, because it's really about bringing heart focus to the world. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope this gives you kind of a feel for, as we move towards the meditation that we're going to do today, kind of pulling ourselves a little more to the heart and out of the mind. And before we jump into that, we're going to watch a recording by Gavin Andrews of HeartMath. He'll show you how to set up your global coherence app. Very quick tutorial, and then we'll dive into the meditation.
So the Global Coherence app is basically, it's a meditation app, but it's also a biofeedback app. So it's measuring through your heart rate variability. It's measuring your individual coherence, and it's also measuring the group's collective coherence. So it's measuring all of our coherence together and assigning a kind of a level of coherence to that, an average level for the group as a whole. So in terms of the app and what it's doing, if you've got yours handy there, what I'd like you to do is to open the app, and you'll see this screen here. And if you just kind of swipe along a little bit, you'll see that it says Global Coherence Experiment number 2, one field. And so what I'd like you to do, please, is to tap on that. And then you'll see the description there of the experiment pop up, sponsored by the one field, as you can see. And so then what I'd like you to do is just to tap join. Now, when you then tap to join, you'll see this screen pop up, and it'll ask you to select a sensor. Now, maybe one or two of you have got an actual dedicated HeartMath sensor. If you do, then you know whether it's wired or Bluetooth, but most of you will be using the camera sensor. Very clever, this app, because it can use your phone's own camera to give you biofeedback on your heart rhythms, your level of coherence. So tap on the relevant one, which most of you will be camera, of course, and then this screen will pop up, and then you just need to tap join session. Okay, now you need to have your finger over the camera on your phone. Now, if you've got one or more cameras, two or more cameras, sorry, it needs to be the top one. Okay, so what you're doing is you're placing your finger over the camera lens, you're holding your hand steady, and you're applying light pressure. Don't push too hard. If you push too hard, it squeezes the blood out of the capillaries in your finger. And so we want just nice light pressure. And what will happen is your flash will come on your phone and it will stay on. That's basically shining light into your finger. And what we're doing is we're picking up the blood density in the capillaries of the finger. And that's a proxy for your heartbeat. So we can work out very accurately your heartbeat through the blood in the capillaries in your finger. Pretty clever, huh? And then let me just start this little video here. What you'll see then, so you'll have seen, hopefully, a red window pop up. That red is basically your fingertip. It's the light shining through your fingertip. And then what you'll see is your heart rhythm is being calculated. It might take a little while to calibrate, depending on how effectively your phone is getting the signal. And then what it's doing is it's gathering data and it's calculating your level of coherence. So it's basically measuring your heart's rhythm and calculating how coherent that is. Okay. And so then what you're beginning to see in this waveform as it appears here, this is the heart's rhythm. Okay, so in this example, this is the heart's rhythm speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. You can see already it's going into a lovely coherent pattern, a sinusoidal waveform with these repeating oscillations, which are in effect vibrations. Then you can tap that little heart thing to get that message out of the way that just disappeared. Slide your screen up a bit, and then you can see your level of coherence is presented, and then the global level of coherence is presented. And you can also toggle here between your individual and then the global level of coherence to see what's happening to that coherence over time, basically. So you can see it tends to wander around a bit. You could have also tapped the thing that says map in the top right hand corner, and that will show a live map of everyone who's logged into the app right now. So you could see me there in London, zooming in and out basically. And so yeah, we're going to use this app now, continue to use this as we go into the meditation. And then what we'll do, hopefully at the end, is to have a little look and see what happened. And we'll also be collecting all of this data for the experiment. Okay, just maybe skip that survey thing. We'll do that later. Don't worry about it for now.
All right, so everybody, let's get into a comfortable position. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. Or keep a soft gaze. And we'll begin to bring our attention inwards. Notice whatever's going on for you inside your body, or notice some sounds around you. Whatever gently brings you towards the present moment. Begin to notice your breath. Moving in and out. You may notice it at your nose, in your throat, in your chest, your belly. Let's start wherever it's most prominent. And then if you can shift your focus towards your heart, your chest area, and notice the breath going in and out of there. You may slow this breath down in a way that's comfortable for you. Just a little slower and deeper than you're used to. If you get distracted, that's okay. That's your mind. That's actually part of the practice. Just gently noticing your breath when you can. In and out of your heart, your chest. And now let's move our attention towards our feelings, our emotions, noticing if we are feeling a certain way, maybe good, maybe we feel down. All emotions are okay. And we're going to try to add a little lift to how we feel. So see if you can bring to mind a person or a pet or a nature scene, anything that brings you a sense of a positive feeling, such as care, compassion, love, maybe just gratitude, a little bit of happiness. We're just going for something simple and subtle for starters. And if it's big, that's okay too. So picturing maybe something nice someone did for you the other day, maybe something fun you did the other day. Every person's going to find something different. But we're here together in this uplift in emotion and feeling. See if you can feel a bit of a difference, or a difference in how you are inside as you bring this to mind, to heart. Noticing your breath again. whenever you can. And gently returning to something that makes you feel an uplift. See if you can stay with that. Again, distractions will always come, but we are leaning towards these uplifting emotions. And now, let's begin to shift our focus outwards. As we feel our heart, our feelings, we want to imagine that we're radiating that care, that heart outwards from our bodies. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay. Let's just play with this thought experiment. Just imagine those feelings can extend beyond you to the room around you, to the computer in front of you, or the phone, the table, the people that are nearby, even beyond your home, to your town, your city, your country. Those feelings, those positive, caring feelings, coming from all of us as a group, outwards to the planet, encompassing the planet. You may feel expansive, an expansion of yourself. Connecting with others, connecting with the planet. Simply remaining in this expansive state with these uplifting feelings is sending care to the world, to the challenges and conflicts that we face as a human race. To humanity, as well as the animals, nature, the plant kingdom, inanimate objects are all impacted by our hearts. This may feel a little different in your internal world to be connected like this. Trust that it is positive, it is bringing you nourishing goodness just as you are bringing it to the world. you're here as a group, and we are doing this together. We feel our hearts beating in our chest, and we connect to this planet to bring peace, to be a part of global consciousness, to raise the vibration, raise the energy with our intention. And now, let's begin to return to our bodies, to our present moment, to our hearts, knowing that we have done something great today. Let's slowly return, gradually, gently begin to ground back in our bodies. Noticing our breath, heartbeat, any other sensation that reminds us of ourselves. Beginning to wiggle our fingers and toes. Landing, feeling settled in our whatever is supporting us underneath us, a chair or floor. Allow ourselves to sink into that. Let's just take a few more breaths together as we come to the end of this meditation. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly begin to open them and look around the room. When you're ready, we can bring our attention back to the group here. Thank you, everybody. So nice to share heart with everyone here.
I was wondering to myself that if every evening, instead of news in the national TV, it's been a meditation like this, how the global consciousness will be completely different. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah, a little more meditation, a little less news.
Exactly, exactly. And consciousness of love will be all over the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Nahum Palonka. Thank you to be with us. And now, עכשיו, אני ממש מתרגשת לספר לכם על כך שחודש הבא הוא למעשה הניסוי האחרון בסדרה הנוכחית. וואו, חצי שנה, כמה דברים קרו בחצי שנה הזאת. And now I'm excited to tell you that next month is the last experiment in this current series. למעשה, במשך 6 חודשים נפגשנו כאן כל חודש ב-21 לחודש וחקרנו את השאלה הכה משמעותית. האם אנחנו יכולים לעורר את לב האנושות ולהעלות את הרטט של השדה הגלובלי? ועכשיו הגיע הזמן לבחון את התוצאות של הניסויים אותם חקרנו. For 6 months we met here every 21st of the month and we investigated the significant question: can we awaken the art of humanity and raise the vibration of the global field? And now it's time to examine the result of the experiment we performed. כדאי לכם לשריין את התאריך ולהצטרף אלינו, כי ב-21 לדצמבר עומד להיות כאן אירוע מיוחד. הפעם הוא ישודר בדיוק מאותו עולם בירושלים, שם צילמנו את המדיטציה העולמית כפי שהיא מתועדת בסצנת הסיום של הסרט השדה האחד. Save the date and join us, because on December 21st we will host the special event. This time it will be broadcast from the same hall in Jerusalem where we filmed the world meditation as documented in the final scene of the movie The One Field. עומד להיות אירוע מיוחד, יהיו איתנו כל גיבורי הסרט השדה האחד. It's going to be a special event. Will be with us all the start of the movie The One Field. את הערב ילוו אומנים יהודים וערבים במוזיקה חיה, אנשים מוכשרים שמשתפים פעולה ומראים לעולם שאפשר ביחד, שבעצם כולנו אחד. In this evening, Jewish and Arab musicians will play live music together and show world that it's possible to live together and that we all one. והפעם האירוע יונחה ב3 שפות, אנגלית, ערבית ועברית, וישודר בו זמנית ליותר מ100 מדינות, כך שעומד להיות אירוע חזק ומרגש. This time, the event will be hosted in 3 languages, English, Hebrew, and Arabic, and will be broadcast at the same time to more than 100 countries, so it's going to be very powerful and exciting. וגם הפתעה לקראת הקריסמס. And there will be also a special surprise for Christmas. אז תודה לכולכם שהשתתפתם ותרמתם את כוונת הלב שלכם. תודה שהייתם איתנו בניסוי. שתפו את האירוע כמה שיותר, כך שנגדיל את ההשפעה הטובה. So thank you all for participating and sharing your heart intention. We encourage you to share our next event as much as possible so we can increase the positive impact. תודה לחגית ויניר שביט על החסות. Thank you חגית and יניר שביט for sponsoring our event. לצוות השדה האחד, לאנה על התמיכה מאחורי הקלעים, לאיתמר ועידו, הצוות על השידור. I would like also to thank to the One Field team, to Anna for the support behind the scenes, and Itamar and his team for the broadcast. תודה מיוחדת לציפי רזה, במאית של הסרט שנמצאת מאחורי כל הניסויים האלה. Thank you to ציפי רז, the director of the movie and the one behind those experiments. אנחנו ניפגש בירושלים בדיוק בעוד חודש, ב-21 בדצמבר. We will meet in Jerusalem exactly on 1 month in December 21st. ורגע לפני סיום, אנחנו נראה לכם את הפרומו לאירוע הבא שלנו, אחדות מירושלים. And before the end, we will show you the promo for our next event, Unity from Jerusalem. Thank you, all of you. Good night from Tel Aviv.